Louise, you know, in a way it seems we should be focusing entirely on the terrible, terrible tragedy, the deaths, the mourning. The tears should be for the dead and the wounded and those that have had this catastrophic loss. And yet many Jews are at the same time very angry because there has been such a betrayal of them, and in fact of Australia really, in leading up to all this. Do you understand this anger?
I absolutely understand this anger, and I think it's an anger shared by the majority of Australians who are just appalled at the way the Albanese government has turned their back on our Jewish population in this country. It's, you know, they've pandered to the wrong causes. They've pandered to the pro-Palestinian movement. They've pandered to minute groups who have, you know, shown such hatred to such a fundamental and collaborative part of society. So the anger, I think, will only grow as well. I mean, for example, Tony Burke going to Bondi and being heckled, he probably went there expecting deference and some kind of appreciation for turning up. But, you know, he got honesty and good. I mean, this is how people are feeling. Sort of respectable people were so enraged to see him there and so disgusted they were booing him at a memorial. So that gives you an indication of how angry people are. And I think that, you know, we've got a situation where Mr Albanese and Miss Wong and Mr Burke have all made Australia a very unsafe place for Jewish people. I mean, for Tony Burke, his job as Home Affairs is literally to keep the community safe, and they've all failed.
Yes, and notably that Penny Wong is, I don't think I've seen her in public since the massacre. Now, some Jews who were at the Bondi massacre at the time, they complained that just 2 police were at the Bondi event to protect them, and that no police who later rushed there had more than pistols to confront terrorists who were armed with powerful long arms. And they also say that some who were there initially did not even fire back. The police commissioner said the police were actually outgunned, which is extraordinary. And the Premier today was angry with journalists simply asking about it. Here they both are.
The New South Wales Police acted with bravery and integrity. They didn't take a backward step. They engaged the gunman on the footbridge with handguns. The offenders had long-range rifles, and New South Wales police officers were responsible for killing one of them and shooting the other one, and as a result, saving many, many people's lives. Now, there are 2 officers in critical care in New South Wales hospitals at the moment. They weren't shot in the back as they were running away, they were shot in the front. I'm sorry to be graphic about it, but if there's any suggestion that New South Wales Police didn't live up to their responsibilities to the people of this state, it should be rejected.
In the end, footage I've seen shows a very courageous detective rushing closer to the gunman at the obvious risk of his own life and taking out at least one of them with an incredible 40-metre shot with just this handgun. Incredible bravery and skill. But Mia, is it fair enough to ask about these allegations and ask why police at such a gathering didn't have more than 2 officers there and with only pistols?
Yeah, look, Andrew, I have the utmost respect for police. They are the first ones to put their own lives in danger in order to keep the rest of us safe. They quite literally put themselves in the firing line. So I'm hesitant to start, you know, throwing accusations out there by the police. Even in recent days, there was an image floating around of a policewoman holding up her hands, and there was a narrative attached to that image that she was frozen in fear. And since then, that's been debunked, and it was actually an image of her ushering the public away from the crime scene after the offenders had been detained, and therefore she was actually doing her job. So therefore I'm hesitant to rush in on this one, but I do think that once an appropriate period of mourning has passed, absolutely there should be a full-fledged Royal Commission looking into every single aspect of this disaster, including the response, including the police presence. It all needs to be investigated, and quickly. Prime Minister Tony Abbott was very quick to do that after the Lind Cafe siege. I think he launched an inquiry 3 to 4 weeks after it happened, and that same level of scrutiny needs to be applied here to find out exactly what allowed this scenario to occur.
And Louise, I think it's even more necessary because I'm afraid Australia has changed and nobody can rule out another such attempted massacre.
No, and I think Mal Lanyon made a good point when he said that had they got intelligence suggesting the scene or the event was going to be targeted, then perhaps they would have done something different. And also Chris Minns echoed that sentiment as well. But would they turn up with long arms on the day? I mean, obviously they didn't, but they may do in the future. But, you know, echo Mia's comments that I'm very loath to criticise the police. They were extremely brave. They ran at the gunman. And as Mr Minns said, the police were shot in the front, not running away from the back. So I think in the circumstances, they did the very best they could with the weapons they had. And we still need to, I think, better protect police. If they need to have better rifles and better weaponry, then let's make sure they have that, and let's make sure the community feels safer in the situations like this.
Unfortunately, we've got to talk that way, better arming the police, because society has changed for the very, very worst. Mia Schlichter, Louise Roberts, thank you very much to you both.